Hello, welcome once again to Tea Time with Mr. T. I'm Mr. T. Not the one from 18th, but I am Mr. T. Today we'll be reviewing, we'll be looking at 2018 Immortal Dew by West China Tea Company. Now this is a sheng, or sheng, however you want to say it. And it's pretty high end. It's from the Newell Mountain. It's from 3 different patches on the Newell Mountain that I can't particularly remember off the top of my head, but there are 3 very highly sought after. Tea is very highly sought after from these patches. It's a combination of the 3, and this is what it looks like. I'm just waiting for my tea-ware to warm up. You can see it's mostly whole leaves. Actually, it's all whole leaves. I don't see a single broken one in there. Waiting for my tea-ware to warm up. Yeah, I think that's warm enough. Making sure yeah, pretty much is. Sorry about that, I was having some tea earlier before I decided to do this. Having a 96 food cha that I will be reviewing at some point in the future. Very interesting stuff. But that's not what you're here to hear. That's not what you're here to hear me talk about today. I'm using 5 grams to 100 milliliters in my clay Gaiwan, which is pretty much my go-to for everything. We do a little bit of rearranging in here so I can get the lid to close properly without breaking the leaves. You may see some of my cats come in and out of the... No. You may see some of my cats coming in and out of shot here. Dry leaf smell. Let's see here. I'm getting something kind of like akin to a green tea. Like kind of something similar to the Golden Pig that I had, the 2018 or 19 it was, I think. But I'm also getting brown sugar. Some kind of sweet. Maybe something like a marshmallow. Interesting. I've got my water. Going to reheat my water. Got it set to 185 as per the directions on the package. Just a minute here. And I've started timing my sheng, however you say it. I started timing the sheng steepings because I wanted to have a more regulated experience when reviewing. Sorry about my hair, I didn't feel like putting gel in it today. It's gonna be a little poofy. My dad says it looks like Ronald McDonald hair, like clown hair. I said, good, I'll keep it that way. So I'm gonna give it 1 rinse. Quick flash rinse. And then then we'll get to smelling the liquor. You don't really, I always use a filter for the wash, and usually the first infusion. Simply because, well, I might not use it for the first this time, but generally it keeps the leaves from going in there. But once after that, you don't really need it. I mean, as you can see here, I'm going to turn this light on for this part. As you can see here, got this golden color. It's a slight, the rinse does, with a slight green to it. Has this incense kind of smell, like something floral, maybe poppy flower, or maybe just a general floral. Maybe rose, lavender and violet, maybe. Empty guy one. Let's see what I get out of this. Not really much, to be honest. Wet leaves. Let's get this to smell. Sugar, caramelized sugar. Candy, what's that candy? Spice. Cinnamon, maybe. Anise. Vegetal, not like soup, but vegetal, like fresh cut hay, grass maybe. What is that candy that reminds me of? Red Hots, yeah, it's got like a cinnamon, but with a little bit more star anise and stuff like that. I might have stewed the leaves a little bit because I forgot to take the lid off. I usually like to do that with young sheng. Let's get into our first. Yeah, I'm definitely getting, even with it this far away, I'm getting anise, like licorice. It's kind of strong, very fragrant. Let's get this first steep going here. Oh yeah, definitely anise, definitely spicy. As you can see here, it's a bit more golden green. I don't know if you can turn the slide off. I don't know if you can really see the green in it. I know that light gives me a lot of whitewash on my face. The brown sugar note is there. Let's get the other second brew started. I like doing it like that because it gives that a chance to cool down while I'm drinking the one, which makes it go a little bit quicker. So a lot of people might not like that. They might think that that's not the best way to do it, but that's how I like doing it. Just This one's going to be 13 seconds, whereas the last one was 10. See what I mean? It's all full leaves. After that last one, no leaves at all in this. No broken bits or nothing like that. Very high quality stuff. Now I'm not quite sure if this is, yeah, I think this is I guess you'd call it matcha, maybe, because I don't think this one is. There's an earlier version of it. There might be a version of this that's pressed into a cake. I don't know. I forgot. Slightly, yeah, anise. It's got a little bit of that spice, that bitterness that spice can have, but it's not unpleasant. Some floral notes here. Not quite sure what flower yet, but I'm sure that will, with a tea as complex as this, I'm sure that will evolve. Ooh, Hoi Gan too. You can, I think that's what they call it. It's the sweetness. It's the slight bitterness from the kind of anise note has turned into sweetness. It's good stuff. It's a pop, not like overwhelmingly sweet, but it's like, hey, it's like enough to let you know, hey, I'm here. I'm getting that grassy note, along with some floral, a little bit of floral bitterness too. But as those who like young sheng whatever, and those who like young sheng would say, the bitterness is different than, to me it's different than the bitterness you get from other teas. This kind of bitterness is pleasant, whereas like if you brew a black tea or overbrew a green tea, that's unpleasant. This bitterness is pleasant. It's not like, I've learned in my journey on drinking young sheng, that the bitterness can sometimes add to the goodness of the tea. What's that word? Desirable. Sorry. Usually the first infusion, if you pour it without a filter, there's leaves in it. The color seems to have changed a little bit. I guess not. Maybe it's just the light. Yeah, it's just the light. This one. Anise, cinnamon. Yeah, cinnamon and anise, or licorice. Reminds me, there's a snuff that I've had this reminds me of. Yeah, it's anise. It's an anise one. I can't quite remember which one it was when I was using nasal snuff. I would say, because it's kind of got that little bit of that cooling tinge. I think it was Wilson's anise an extra, but that's not important. That's not what we're here to discuss. This one's at 177, which I'll reheat the next one. "16 seconds for this one. I'd like to get a normal clay guy one, but I also need a porcelain one so I can get a actual flavor to, see how the difference is between the two. Because I know that clay can affect some of the flavor of tea. It's almost like maybe there's a slight smokiness in the leaves. I can't say for sure. That's my Lulu right there. She hardly ever leaves my side. Steep number 2. Yep. Anise and cinnamon still. A little bit of a floral edge. Something like lavender, I think. Woody. Fresh grass. I've had one prior session of this when I got it, just trying to compare the two in my head. Little drying in the back of the throat, but it's not throat closing. It's not throat closing, It's not chokingly dry. Sweetness develops in the back of the throat. I'm on to steep number 3. That polygon is still there. You can definitely feel it and taste it on your teeth. Nothing in the empty guy one, surprisingly. Back to 185 now. The aftertaste kind of has that green tea characteristic. 19 seconds. Something similar to a green tea, but not quite as heavy on the savory note that some green teas have. Some have it very strong, some have it very lightly, but this is lighter than probably the lightest one that I've had. So I think it's due to how they process it. I think they fry it at a lower temperature for shorter amounts of time. Now that I think about it, with the aftertaste, I'm getting kind of dandelions, maybe. Definitely spicy. Okay, now the spiciness is starting to turn into a floral note. Just a little bit more bitterness now. But it's not unpleasant. Yeah, dandelions, maybe some lavender, maybe even more yet, meadow flowers. Yeah, it's ramped up in bitterness, but it's not unpleasant. Not unpleasantly bitter. Yeah, that sweetness develops definitely very strongly in the back of the throat. Not getting any fruitiness. Oh yeah, definitely floral. And despite having 2 other teas this morning, the key of this tea, cha-chi, whatever you want to call it, chi, is definitely strong. I'm only 4 infusions in, and I'm feeling a little bit of starting to feel a little hot, a little warm, just a little bit of a sweat, a little calmer, just a tiny bit dizzy. I only had toast for breakfast this morning, so that's probably why I'm on a diet. Not like y'all wanted to know that or anything. Only 2 seconds this one. If you have this tea, please feel free to drink along with me. I usually like to say that at the beginning, but I always forget. If you have this tea, drink along with me. If you don't have it, have another drink. Another young sheng or other tea to drink along with me. I encourage you to do so. I think by listening to other people describe teas while drinking tea, to me it makes it easier to identify what's in a particular tea and what's not in a particular tea. It's all very subjective, though. What I taste in this, somebody else might taste something different. I'll write I'll put since I didn't look it up beforehand, but I'll put the 3 particular patches on Mount Nanua Mountain that this is that this comes from. I know Dui Yi is one, and there's 2 other. No, don't want to do that. Don't want us to do the leaves. The leaves are very green. There's only very slight oxidation in them. I don't know if you can see this or not. Let's turn on this light. The bitterness has died down a little bit. Dryness is still there. The floral edge has become something just more like generic floral. Maybe this tea is just too complex and I'm not skilled enough to divine the notes from it. Maybe a little cherry. Got a little bit of cherry on the exhale there. Some minerality. Maybe like a rock. Looking at a rock. Saltiness, that also is an indicator of minerality. I mean, it's like in the back of the throat. I know that sounds crazy, but it's like a saltiness in the back of the throat. Slightly creamy, maybe. Ooh, fresh cut grass. I always like to analyze the aftertaste too, the finish, I guess you would call it. Much like an oolong, like kind of like that root mountain oolong that I'll be reviewing from Anxi that I had earlier. This one's a little more dark, but the greenness is still in the liquor. Let's brew up this. Let's see which one is it. That was steep number 5. This one is number 6. The last steep was number 5. This next one will be number 6. I'm going to go straight from the center this time. Break the cha down. See how that treats me. It's pretty good tea. It's be a good morning tea or something to drink like in summer, like now, or in spring when the flowers, or maybe even winter when you're missing the spring. The smells and taste the smells of spring. This might be a good one to have then in winter. But like, not, I don't know how to describe it. Be good for when you're missing spring. But also, heavier fermented teas are also good in winter, cold days. I find particularly that show, and Lu Bao, and white teas, which isn't fermented, but white teas are all good on cold days. Number 6, I think. Yeah, number 6. I don't know. Number 5, I think, maybe. Licorice note is back, with a little bit of clove, maybe. Bitterness is turned a little bit. Floral notes have died down. Now it's just mainly minerality, mineral taste like rocks, and not that that's a bad thing. It's actually very enjoyable. Savory, this one. like a green tea savoriness, but not as strong. This is number 6. The last one was number 5. This next one will be the last one, which is number 7. Let me reheat my water. Write in the comments below. Tell me what you like in a sheng. Sorry, I have a hard time remembering to pronounce these. Tell me what you like in a sheng and what you generally like in teas. Write down in the comments below, and I'll try to have a discussion with you. Do you like young sheng, old sheng, medium, age sheng? What's your favorite region, if you have experience? Your favorite mountain, I mean, like in Munhai or Linsang or Tiswanbana or wherever else. What's your favorite thing about pu-erh tea? Pu-erh, tomato. I'd hit this last one in the middle too. This tea's it's high quality, so that usually means it's going to be high price, which it is a little high, but it's definitely worth the price. In fact, I think that he probably could have sold it for more. My friend could have, Sohan. Probably could have sold it for a higher price than what he does. If you want a good representation of what Nanua Mountain, their characteristic is, I would buy this. It's because it's a little blended from the 3 main patches on Nanua Mountain, and you can get. I have another tea here that I'm going to review at sometime in the future. That's just the I think it's the Bama patch, and I'll review that one eventually. Bitterness is ramped up, but that's because I broke the cha down. Grassy floral note. This kind of is a little bit stronger now. Still want to say like violet or lavender or maybe meadow flowers. It's similar to a oolong floral, but it's not quite as strong floral wise. It's not quite as easy to pick out the flavor, the particular flower, as it is with oolongs, like Ti Guan Yin and Dong Ding and stuff like that. Last infusion. Let's see what this smells like. Oh yeah, there's that spiciness, like anise, licorice, and cinnamon, as I said earlier. Brown sugar, very light on the brown sugar though, brown caramelized sugar. Very robust. This tea is pretty potent. It's robust. It's not delicate like the Golden Pig was. This is more robust and more potent, pungent in a good way. More potent, pungent, and robust than the Golden Pig, the 2019 Golden Pig was. That one's a little bit more delicate, little bit more smooth maybe, This one is more in your face, which is a good thing. Sometimes you want something like that. It's just, I don't know if I drink it every day, but when I wanted a strong tea, I would definitely go to this one. Well, I won't say strong tea in general. I'll say when I want a strong sheng, I'll go with this one. Minerality mainly. A little bit of the anise, and the cinnamon, maybe clove. Floral note is there. Well, very good. Well, final thoughts. Would I age this tea? Would I buy a quantity of this and age it? I don't know. Probably not. I mean, I think it's good to drink fresh. I've not had much experience with trying to compare a fresh to an aged to see how that would affect it, but this one would probably be alright aged. I've not had an aged version of this, but I think it's primarily meant to be drunk young, in my opinion. Is it worth the price? Yes, very much. In fact, I think he's selling it for a little cheaper than he should. Bitterness, I'd give it 2 out of 5. 5 being intolerably bitter, like sucking on an aspirin, and 1 being sweet. I'd give it 2.53 out of bitterness, but it's pleasant. Length of finish, I'd give that a 4 out of 5. Scent, I'd give that 3.5 out of 5. Polygon, 2.5 out of 5. It's not the strongest in Huygon, but it's not the weakest either. Overall, if I had to give this tea a score out of 100, probably a 90. Not something something I'd love to drink occasionally, but not quite every day. For me to want to drink a tea every day, it has to be at least a 95. But this is close, so this is very good tea. It's a good representation of Nanuo Mountain, from what I've been told. Well, this has been Mr. T. Tea Time with Mr. T. Be well, be safe, be prosperous, drink much tea. I hope you find happiness, tranquility, and peace in your tea. Good day.